Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha. Om. Oh, snaps. Hopefully I just got back home from my spiritual retreat. Now it's time to do Save Soil.
Brahmananda Swarupa Isha Jagatisha Akhilananda Swarupa Isha Mahesha 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 Brahmananda Swarupa ईशा अखिलानन्दस्वरूपा ईशा महेशा ब्रह्मानन्दस्वरूपा ईशा जगदीशा 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 अखिलानन्दस्वरूपा ईशा महेशा ब्रह्मा Brahmanandasvarupa Isha Jagadisha Akhilanandasvarupa Isha Mahesha Brahmanandasvarupa Isha Jagadisha Akhilanandasvarupa Isha Mahesha
La 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 la. This very body is soil. My body, your body, everybody is just soil body. Soil body. The magic of soil is it turns death into life. Depleted soils will not quench the fire of hunger. Unquenched hunger can burn the very world. This is a generational responsibility. Save soil. Let's make it happen.
All right. Hey, it's midnight. People are still up. Not much chatting, or don't really want to talk much at the moment. Just arrived, pretty tired. It's good to be back home. And that's someone sneezing over there. Back with allergies. Yeah, I don't really. I was thinking, I guess, that I should really give this stream a direction. And I thought to myself, I thought to myself, maybe I should stream from the perspective of someone who's interested in following the, not really, what do I want to say? I'm trying to be very careful with my words. Why should I be careful with my words? Why should I be careful with my words? Is it because I'm hiding something, or no, no. It's not that I'm hiding something. It's just that the type of people who would be watching this stream, in my mind, are noobs. Why do I say that? Because if you're enlightened already, then you definitely wouldn't be watching this. And so in my mind, um in my mind, I've walked a certain distance, and so I have a certain experience that might be useful for someone who's just starting on the path. And maybe when you're on the path, um things might seem so strange, or kind of like when you're playing a video game, you sort of um there are people who sort of want to know what's going to be ahead of the game. Or sometimes when people play games, when they're playing like a role playing game or an RPG, um, it really helps to sort of know what you're doing, to know um, uh, certain uh, what's the word, certain quests, certain landmarks. um, because when you're walking, you sort of like, when you first step into the an RPG game, you don't really know what you're doing. You're sort of just exploring. You're going from NPC to NPC, talking to all the different NPCs. You're walking around trying to figure out what does the game actually want you to do. And eventually you talk to an NPC who directs you to go on a certain path, or who directs you to go to, oh, you should go to the jungle, or you should go to the forest, or you should go to a dungeon, beat this boss, acquire this skill, obtain some sort of technique. And once you get those different tools, then you sort of learn different skills, and it allows you to progress in the spiritual path. And it also gives you some confidence that where you're walking and where you're going um, will lead to somewhere. Because um, not all paths, it's there's infinite amount of paths. And sometimes you could be in a state of paralysis when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know um, if you're making sort of progress. You don't even know if where you're walking is where you're supposed to be. And it's not that one path is better than the others. It's just that um, you just want some context. Because if you see someone, or if you go to someone and they talk about their experience, um, that gives you context, and it gives you more information, and it allows you to make a better decisions, and it allows you to um, rely on on a path that you know is stable. And so I want to be careful with my words, because if people like where I'm at, if people like who I am, and if people like the person I've become, then maybe they will they will be able to find information on, um if I just share where I've walked, if I share where I've traveled, if I share what techniques I've learned, um people can use that as a guideline, or people can use that as a rough template. People can use that as a rough build order. And maybe that might be useful because not every build order is optimum. And maybe, I've invested points, I've invested my time in walking certain paths, and I can sort of tell you, like, oh, this path just doesn't lead you to anywhere, or this path led me to this skill, or this path has given me these abilities, or these paths have given me certain clarity. So anyways, all these thoughts of, how can I be useful to other people, those are the kinds of thoughts that are coming to me when I'm meditating. And yeah, sort of a a desire to do something useful, not just sitting around and and doing nothing. Anyways, that's enough gibbering from me. I hope you guys have a good evening, and appreciate whoever's watching. Yeah, I really don't. It's kind of a. Hmm. Hopefully, it's not so useless. Om Anandamanandakaraprasannam Dhyana Swarupam Nijabodarupam Yogendramidyam Bhavarogavaidyam Shrimat Gurum Nityam Aham Bhajami. Om. Have a good night, and thanks for watching. Maybe see you guys tomorrow.